right. We're at episode 1 of Whiskey and Kicks. Thank you for joining us. My name is Rickey. I'm here with my man Ben Taylor, who is the creator of the Whiskey and Kicks logo. How you doing, Ben?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Hey, man. I'm here, man. We're doing this.
This is exciting, huh?
Very exciting. We've been talking and drinking and having pizza for a long time, and now we're finally recording. So here we are.
Yeah, buddy.
So tell the people a little bit about yourself, man. Like, what do you do?
I am currently the vice president of marketing for a company called Bam Bams. We are a marketing and manufacturing merchandising agency. We create products and merchandising experiences for professional sports organizations, for craft breweries, craft cocktail distilleries, collegiate sports organizations, high school sports organizations, and everybody from the small business to the corporate 100 giants.
Okay.
So that's kind of what we do in a gist.
Right. Yeah. I had a hard time getting this guy strapped down for an episode. There's a lot of travel, a lot of West Coast time, a lot of things going on out here. So I'm glad you're here, man. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate that logo. A lot of good feedback on the logo.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, our creative team does really great work. It was a fun process doing it. To give you guys a little bit of insight into where it came from, Brocky and another one of our friends, Jonathan, came into the office and we got talking about all sorts of different business ideas. Even though we knew that Whiskey and Kicks was already in the creation, we had this name that Brocky had come up with, and he kind of gave me the creative feedback, and I brought it back to our team. And the really talented people on our team were able to put it together, kind of from Brocky's vision.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man.
It, you know what I mean? So, it's good to get the background in, and you're a veteran.
I am. Marine Corps.
Me.
Yeah, buddy.
I'm an Air Force guy, but I'm not wearing my camouflage anymore. But
it's all right, man. This was my poncho liner, now it's turned into an amazing hoodie.
It works out. It works out. You know what I'm saying? So, well, we're here to talk about booze and shoes.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? So you made this beautiful drink, and so what are we talking about here? What do we have?
So this is a hibiscus infused gin that we turned into a gin Rickey, but not just any gin Rickey. We turned it into a black pepper gin Rickey. There's a couple different reasons that we did that. A, we're in Washington, D.C. It is home for me. It is now your home. It's where I was born and raised. So I'm a bit particular to the city, but it is also the official drink of our city. Right. The reason I went with the black pepper gin Rickey was in 2008 in the first national gin Rickey competition. This was the drink that represented and won for Washington, D.C. It was created by a bartender that works down on K Street, and it was really cool. I just kind of put my own spin on it by infusing it with now I'm blanking on the name.
Black pepper.
Excuse me. No.
The hibiscus.
With hibiscus, excuse me, yeah.
Hibiscus.
And the reason I chose to do that is hibiscus has a really sweet, a naturally sweet, really floral fragrance and taste to it. And when you're making a black pepper soda, it is sharp and it has a burn in the back of the throat. So this creates a really, really nice balanced cocktail, especially when you get the tartness of the lime juice in it. And so, a standard gin Rickey is just soda water, fresh squeezed lime juice, and gin. Yeah. It is a classic summer cocktail, and really a great way to enjoy one of the finest beverages on the planet, gin.
Yeah. One of the things that you told me in the past, because we've been friends for a while now, is that gin's the granddaddy of. I'm a big bourbon guy, big rum guy. I'm a big gin guy. I drank a lot of gin and lime juice back in the day. You know what I mean? So what's it, a gin gimlet? I think it's called.
Gin gimlet. Yep.
So you told me gin was the granddaddy of
cocktails.
Cocktails. So why do you call it that?
Well, for a couple different reasons. When I first got into cocktails and into bartending, I was a young man. I was still in the Marine Corps, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, and outside of just being a Marine. And I was working at a restaurant. A Great American restaurant called Sweetwater Tavern. And I say Great American Restaurant, that's the group that owns it, in Falls Church, Virginia. And I started falling in love with food and falling in love with drinks. And so then I started exploring, trying to get myself behind the bar, started bar backing and started getting into different cocktails. And I started paying attention to the best. My motto is, if I'm going to dive into something, I'm going to dive into it all the way. And you got to learn from the best. Otherwise, you're never going to, really understand, the full, possibilities of what you're doing. So I met a guy named Derek Brown in Washington, D.C., and he started telling me, and he's kind of the king of craft cocktails, the king of cocktails in general, king of bars. But he started telling me, through the D.C. Craft Bartenders Guild, about the background of gin, the importance of gin. And that kind of diversified itself from there. And then I met a guy named Paul Trahan Taylor. He used to bartend at this place called Roadside. Now he's a manager for a bunch of Derek's bars. And I drank gin at the time, but I really just drank bourbon. I drank bourbon, I drank scotch, whiskeys, rye, rum, stuff like that. And he started getting me into gin, and I started exploring it. Gin has from the way it's distilled to its taste, has a unique ability to complement so many different ingredients. Unlike, it's not overpowering like a whiskey. Yeah. It's not too sweet like a rum. It is the granddaddy of liquor for cocktails. So
I have to agree. I have a few gins in my collection. Lately I've been heavy on aged, barrel aged gin.
Yeah, buddy.
Which I can sip straight, just like a bourbon.
Absolutely.
So it's a really good thing. So this drink is delicious.
Glad you enjoy it.
The hibiscus and the black pepper thing, it's not overpowering, so it's really a balanced drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. So I appreciate this.
Yeah, man, my pleasure.
So, your experience around the DC area, what is it? Do you get a feel of what's the most popular type of thing in this area? Like, what do people gravitate towards? Like people heavy on the rum or heavy on the bourbon? Because rum is not really making a lot of ground yet, but bourbon is really a big whiskey boom. So.
I feel like rum's making a resurgence right now. People are starting to do a lot of really cool things with rum. That being said, DC, like any other town, any other city, is still run by whiskey, and that's really because of the popularization, in my opinion, the popularization and the masculization of whiskey. And I think that, not to go on a completely side note or get on my high horse, but I think the over masculinity of men has really become a crush on our culture.
It's pretty heavy.
And the crush on our manhood. But because of that, I think that whiskey has made such a massive impact on our lives in the past really 10 to 15 years. Mm-hmm. If you look at what happened, look at Pappy, right? Mm-hmm. You take a Pappy Van Winkle, this is a 12-year, and MSRP on that bottle should be, in my opinion, should be about $50 to $60, right?
Right.
But you're buying it all across, people are buying it all across the country now for extreme amounts of money.
Yeah. And
not that it's not a great bourbon, right? It is a great bourbon. But it's developed a folklore around itself. Yeah. And so has bourbon and whiskey in general. So it's still running DC. People are making a lot of amazing cocktails with bourbon and whatnot, but I'm excited about what's happening with rum, and we haven't talked about it much yet, but there's a really cool resurgence happening with rum right now.
It is, and I'm a big rum guy, and that's really where my basis, even though I did a lot of gin back in the day, but rum is my thing, and I went to the rum festival down in Miami in April, so I learned a lot of things, and I've been reading some articles about how rum is making a resurgence. I was recently in New York and went to a rum bar. So I was very happy, when I was in Manhattan. So it is making it's ground, but it's a little sweet and it's a little, for some people. And when people think about rum, they think about islands and, coconuts and things of that nature or whatever. But there's a lot of dark rums you can just have neat or with a block of ice in it.
Absolutely.
So I'm looking forward to see what's going to happen with that. You know what I mean? So I'm big on the whiskey and everything too, and the gin, and I'm really excited about this drink right now.
I'm glad you like it. Do you mind if I throw you for a loop for a minute? Because I think this could make for an interesting storyline. Tell me how you got into rum.
Oh my God. So we're gonna do this on the first episode.
Yes.
So I was big on rum, back in the day, and I was just like, rum and cokes and things of that nature, right? So I had this girlfriend. Mm-hmm. It always centers around a girl, right? So she had a birthday weekend. And I said, well, I want to get something that we're going to go away for the weekend and spend some time for her birthday. So what do I want to get? I'm going to go get something to drink. So I went to a liquor store. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking for some, whatever sticks out, you know what I mean? And I see some rums and I said, well, I don't want to get the regular stuff. I don't
Sure.
want to name names or anything, but the regular stuff. So I find a bottle of Ronza Kappa.
Okay.
And I said, okay, 23 Solera, I think it's called Solera.
23 Solera, yep.
And I buy this bottle, and we spent the weekend and bang that bottle out probably in one night. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that'll happen.
And so that's how I got into the another level, of the whole liquor in general.
Sure.
Because you have the regular stuff that everyone knows, the popular stuff, but you have a whole other level of aged bourbons, aged rums, and things of that nature. So I started collecting. One bottle here, one bottle there, and now I'm sitting on a good, nice size.
Course, yeah.
It's a small compared to someone else, whatever. But that's how I got into the rum thing, man. So yeah,
that's awesome. That's awesome. We talk about collecting rum, collecting gin, collecting bourbon. Collecting all these different things. There's a constant problem in my house where I start a collection, but I finish it. So,
right.
you've got your collectors, you've got your drinkers, and you've got your drinker collectors. And I think you fall into that category of drinker collectors.
Yeah,
I know I fall into that
sure.
category of drinker collectors.
For sure.
I wish I would do a better job at keeping some of them around sometime.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of companies, so it takes a while for me to get through mine. But I try to crack open bottles when I get them, at least taste them and stuff. A lot of people doing the whole eBay thing. We're not gonna get into that. But you have a bartending background that we didn't even talk about.
Yeah, I do.
So how did that start off?
So, like I started to explain with when I was introduced initially to the DC Craft Bartenders Guild, I started going to a couple meetings here and there, trying to pay attention to what they were doing. I had so much to learn. I still have so much to learn.
Right.
I am peas and carrots compared to those guys. I mean, and gals, they're some of the most unbelievable, most talented people I've ever met.
Indeed.
But I started paying attention to them. And then I kind of ventured out. I got a job at Legal Seafood, which is just, generally, and I'll be frank here, Legal Seafood is a terrible cocktail program. But there was a guy named Steve there, Steve McCann. He really taught me the importance of measuring my liquor properly when I was making a drink and mixing my ingredients properly making a drink. He had been bartending for a lot of years, and he taught me a lot of great things. And so from there, I worked my way up. I started discovering craft cocktails and discovering and paying attention to it. I worked my way up eventually to kind of running the cocktail program for a good portion of the Legal Seafoods in this area.
Okay.
So DC, Pentagon City, Tyson's Corner. I was developing their cocktail menu, and not to toot my own horn, but I think it was the best cocktail best time period of cocktails at Legal Seafood, because after the couple of us that were really involved in that, they're left, they kind of went back to keeping the standard cocktail list that they have across the country. Mm-hmm. But that gave me a really nice base foundation. From there, I worked at a lot of different bars in the DC area, kind of perfecting my craft, targeting the drinks that I was passionate about, which probably was a little naive and stupid. I basically made gin drinks and bourbon drinks. Uh-huh. And I kind of stuck with that.
This is why you were in the military?
While I was in the military, yeah. I did this on the weekends and nights. I worked a lot of hours, man.
It's no different now.
Yeah.
How you were back then.
That's true. That's true. So I did that. Then I got a break at a job at a place called Trummer's on Main. There's a guy named Stefan Trummer. He started the place. It's in downtown Clifton, Virginia. Stefan had a background of being one of the better craft cocktail bartenders in the United States, based out of New York City. Mm-hmm. He's an Austrian guy. Met a girl from Clifton, Virginia, and started really bringing craft cocktails to Virginia. It was in DC. It kind of touched Arlington. It did not touch the rest of the Northern Virginia area. He brought it there. He was looking for a lead bartender. Mm-hmm. I went there and started taking over his cocktail program, and really got a strong tutelage under him, okay. Which is really, really amazing. That gave me my base knowledge. If you've never been to Trummer's on Main, go. Not only is it an amazing food experience, go sit at the bar, have their signature cocktail, the Titanic, have some of the other ones. It It is just an awesome place.
What's the name of this place again?
It's called Trummers on Main. It's in downtown Clifton, Virginia.
Okay. I can dig that. That's what's up. I have to look that up and see what's going on.
Yeah, and while you're down there, hit up Paradise Springs Winery.
Okay.
So while we're at it, yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. So, look, like I said, I've known Ben for a long time and didn't know the booze side of things. And I'm throwing a party at a house party one time. Ben shows up with a backpack. And so, two backpacks. So, I think I'm going to do a little something. I have my booze, and I want to share it with people. And Ben comes in with 2 backpacks and just unloads. I mean, he's chopping stuff up and infusing things on the spot. I mean, I don't know what was going on, but it was delicious. So, that's when I realized what Ben, brings to the whole alcohol side of things, which is something that I love. That's why we have whiskey and kicks right now.
Yeah, buddy.
You know what I mean? So
that was a fun night.
That was a really good,
fun night.
Yeah. A lot of people passed out and things going on in my house.
I will take responsibility for that.
So, like I said, it's whiskey and kicks. So, what are we doing on the sneaker side of things these days? On the shoe side, when you go out, when you have to work, if you have to travel, these different scenarios, go out with your lady or anything. What do you choose to put on your feet these days?
Well, as a guy that travels all the time, I'm in an airport, if not weekly, bi-weekly. My traveling shoes are Air Max Vapor Max, right? So it is the Vapor Max. I'm not wearing them right now. It's raining outside. No, I've got my raining shoes on. When it rains, I wear Air Force Ones. All white Air Force Ones. So easy to polish and easy to clean.
Yo, Joe, man, Joe's the big Air Force One guy.
Yes, he is.
Don't feel bad right now.
I saw he got a fresh pair a couple weeks ago.
That's all I'm talking about.
But so the Air Max Vapor Max are my traveling shoes, and the reason they're my traveling shoes is sometimes I travel in like joggers and a t-shirt if it's a weekend.
Yeah, indeed.
But I've got a rule of thumb when I travel, and that is there's always a business opportunity, and you never know who you're going to meet. And more often than not, people judge a book by its cover before you have the opportunity to speak to them.
Absolutely.
And so the reason I choose the Vapor Max is if I have to throw a blazer on and I've got a really nice pair of jeans, they do not take away from it. And so I will wear them a lot when I travel. Then, of course, probably like everybody else, the Air Max 95s are still my all-time favorite shoe. I think that, everybody can relate. Everybody that is a Nike fan can relate to the Air Max 95.
No doubt.
I'll forever be remembered of the line in the game song where he's like, he tried me for my Air Max 95s, and
right,
and
that's classic.
But it is. But I just love the lines of that shoe. I really love it. That shoe is actually what got me into sneakers in the first place. I like to draw, and I used to sit and I used to draw Air Max 95s, and I draw the lines, and then I take Prismacolor markers, which are really good markers if you like to draw and you're not using Prismacolors, use them. And I would create my own designs on Air Max 95s.
Oh, that's dope.
And that started from there. And then I got into Air Force Ones because I could actually paint and draw on Air Force Ones.
Yeah, right.
And so I started doing that, and I would sell them. There was a tattoo/art studio that I helped open in Falls Church in 2008. And my entire art collection there was drawings of Air Max 95s and actual Air Force Ones that I had painted and customized for people or for myself.
I can dig it.
So that's that. My daily wears right now are two different pairs of Air Max TNs. I just love
TNs. I gotta look that up.
I will.
We're gonna look that up right now.
Well, we can't see it on camera, but I'll show you.
We chilling right now.
Hold on, I can show you.
This is what happened when you have a conversation over some booze. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that is.
We look stuff up on the spot.
That is without a doubt true. I'm in 3G service here. It's like I feel like I'm in Mexico all over again.
Right. That's how it is down here, man. It's rough.
This is the Air Max TN. I know you've seen the shoe.
I'm sure I have.
It started as a woman's sneaker, and then it became the men's sneakers, the Air Max TN Ultra. Hang tight, let me get it open. But there are two different colors. They've got the black on blacks, and then the I can't remember the name, the blue chamos.
Is this the one with the 3 things in the back, like the little shocks in the back?
Kind of, yeah. It has the pronged out.
Yeah. That's what you're talking about.
And so those are my daily wears because A, they're extremely comfortable. and this time of year, it's starting to be fall. I wear a lot of black sneakers. Summertime, I wear lighter color sneakers. But that's the blue, right?
Oh, okay, yeah, I remember those. Yeah,
Yep.
I know those. Yeah.
So the reason these are my daily wear sneakers is you've been in my office. I gave you the tour, right?
Yep.
And you saw the gym.
Yep.
And I like to hang out in the gym.
Right.
And so I'll do some HIIT cardio, pull up, a body weight workout session, usually midday every day, and it's a good shoe for that. It provides good support, and it just looks fresh as fuck when you're sitting there. Let's be honest.
You can walk around with them and you can go work out if you want to. It is what it is.
Exactly. I tend to be really pragmatic and practical with my shoe choices, even though I'm a bit of an eccentric personality.
So if you if you want to dress up, man, you know what I'm saying, you want to go out on the town at night. I mean, I wear sneakers a lot. If I'm going out at night, I'm like, look, I'm gonna wear these sneakers, and if they don't let me in, I'm not meant to be in this place. Mm-hmm. I'll just go somewhere else. But I'm not as adult as some of my other friends. Yeah. So if you want to go out on the town, you know what I'm saying, at night, man, what do you put on your feet?
Black ostrich cowboy boots.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Black ostrich cowboy boots.
Yes, sir.
They are made by Tony Loma. They were actually a gift from my grandmother, who we buried today.
Oh, man.
And they're my most favorite boots in the world. She's the real reason behind this. She wasn't a drinker. She actually never drank alcohol once in her entire life. But she taught me the love of Southern culture and the love of food, and because of that, I fell in love with this.
Let me tell y'all something real quick, man. So a couple days ago, Ben told me, like, yo, my grandma passed, so, so, well, we can postpone this thing. We can push this back. So, nah. No, let's do this. This guy is dedicated, man. I really appreciate you being here right now.
My pleasure.
Especially, you just came from that earlier today, and you're here now. So, but we'll move on from that.
Yeah, my pleasure. Yeah, so black ostrich cowboy boots is something that you'll see me in on nights very regularly. They are clean, they are classic looking, and they make me an inch taller, which I can appreciate. So, yeah. So I'll wear those a lot. Shoe number 2, Cole Haan has a pair of shoes that are, you can dress them up, you can wear them down, you can wear slacks, you can wear jeans, doesn't matter what you're wearing. They are, think of the old gum-soled, think of Wallabies.
I was
right?
Say Wallabies.
Think of Wallabies, right? Mm-hmm. Thank you, Method Man, not crystal meth.
And Ghost.
Yeah, Ghostface. Yep. In my opinion, Ghostface the best rapper in Wu-Tang, but we won't go there today.
And,
but
this is taking a whole other level right there.
But
that's the foundation for everything we're doing right now.
That is. That's how we became friends. But so they've got a shoe, and my better half got me a pair last year for Christmas, and I fell in love with them. I wear them all the time. They're just really, really nice. They're soft calfskin leather, and they are a nice caramel brown with a like a white gum, like a light gum sole. Okay. And they're perfect for it. So those are my Tony Lomas at night.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's some clean stuff right there. So who would have thought that we could mix booze and shoes?
Hey.
Whiskey and Kicks. Whiskey and Kicks is my thing. Booze and Shoes is yours.
It was Booze and Shoes, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The tagline.
Booze and Shoes.
Real talk about Booze and Shoes.
It's a great conversation, and I'm really excited about this. And we're going to continue this thing on. In the future, we're going to be all over the place in D.C. and hopefully beyond. We'll see you on the show again.
I hope so, man.
Sure.
I hope so. This has been a lot of fun.
So this drink right here, I'm going to have the right glasses next time.
That's all right. We're going to work on that. We should get into making the drink, though, shouldn't we?
We should get into making the drink. Let's do that.
All right, let's do that.
All right.
Cheers.
Boom.
All right. Hey, everybody. My name is Ben Taylor, and this is one of my favorite drinks in the world. It is a Gin Rickey, but it is not just any Gin Rickey. It is the black pepper Gin Rickey with hibiscus-infused gin. To make a Gin Rickey, it is relatively very simple. It is 1 3/4 ounces of gin, lime juice, and soda. That is it. To make this particular gin Rickey, though, we did something very special. We made black pepper syrup, and then we used a soda siphon, one of these, get yourself one, to make black pepper soda, which is what is in this bottle right here. So we're going to build this. At the start, you need to learn how to make the black pepper soda. You take a half cup of whole peppercorns and about 2 pinches of red pepper flakes, and you put them in a skillet over medium heat. You roast them for about 30 to 45 seconds, constantly turning it so that they do not burn. As we learned today, if the pepper burns, it hurts the nostrils, right? So
you will cough.
Yeah.
Uncontrollably.
That is true. So you do that. Once those are nice and toasted, they've got a nice toasted cover around them, you pour in a cup of water, and then you mix in a cup of sugar. Drop that down to medium to low heat, and you let it essentially cook until that sugar is completely dissolved. You take that, let it sit to room temperature, and then you combine 8 ounces of lime juice, 4 ounces of water, and the black pepper syrup over a strainer. Make sure you don't put those kernels into your soda siphon, and it makes your soda, right? Then comes the most important part of any cocktail. That is the libation, the liquor, right? So it is 1 3/4 ounces liquor. As I mentioned before when we were talking, one of the most important parts of cocktail is the balance, right? And to get the balance right, you have to have the absolute exact amount of liquor, right? So a jigger is extremely important, and I don't mean Jay-Z. Right? So we're taking our infused gin here. And we are doing our first part, and we are going to pour it in there.
Look at the color on that.
I know, it's one of the things I love most about hibiscus is it creates this beautiful color. It's got this great floral aroma to it. It has an amazing bittersweet taste to it.
It's amazing.
So it really complements the sharpness of the black pepper
I'm going to drink this.
and the soda all together, right? So then we are going to pour in that carbonated black pepper syrup. Get it built up in there.
What kind of glass should they use?
Should always use the Collins glass, right? We don't have one today because we are unprepared, but that is my fault only. Excuse me while I step off camera here for a second, grab the garnish. The next most important part is your 3 thinly sliced lime wedges, right? They should be living on the sides of the glass. One is it makes a very nice presentation, and 2, allows your nose to get a little bit of it when you take a sip. And your cocktail spoon. Cocktail spoon is designed to stir a cocktail very smoothly and very easily. So we'll start building that up. Collins glass makes this a little bit easier when you're stirring it in there. So
That's cool.
we're good. And then you have your hibiscus gin, black pepper, gin Rickey.
And you could sprinkle some.
You could sprinkle some hibiscus on top. That, however, is quite good.
Here we go. Once again, number 2 for me tonight.
Yeah, buddy.
Man,
Rolling
I
like a big
appreciate it,
shot.
man.
My pleasure,
That's
man.
what I'm talking about.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Whiskey and Kicks, baby. Producer Ted behind the camera right now, putting his glass on. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, thanks, Ted.
Absolutely. You got the Pappy over here. I mean, well, we'll call it what it is. It's Van Winkle.
Yeah,
All right, Van Winkle 12 year. Even though the 12 year, in my opinion, is the best one.
I really enjoy it.
The 12 year is fantastic. So
Where's the
this is
come from?
Huh?
Pappy Van, that was the gentleman's name.
Yeah.
That started the distillery process.
So this is the famous Pappy Van Winkle that everybody always talks about.
It is.
Listen, yeah,
Is this your
if
first
you
experience?
No,
Oh.
I'm doing it for the camera, Ben.
Oh, my bad.
For the audience.
producer
yes.
producer Ted is on
Ted's
producer
doing it.
Ted is on camera right now.
He's doing it for the vine.
I'm the only one with a microphone, so my voice is crazy loud probably. But we're
All
gonna
good. We'll fix it in post, bro.
we're gonna this is celebratory
Oh, Sorry,
celebratory.
that's good
I didn't
luck, right?
I didn't spill the whiskey,
Good
so it
luck,
doesn't
yeah,
matter. Celebratory Pappy.
I'm ready. This is awesome.
Well, Van Winkle for
Thank you for sharing with us.
Oh,
for
generous pour, son.
this is a Whiskey and Kicks first episode.
All right.
celebration. Yeah, you gotta drink that, man. I pour way too much.
Yeah, jeez. How do you? Brocky. Jeez.
We're good right there.
We're good. Perfect.
Gentlemen, cheers.
Ben, Ted, producer Ted.
Glad you're working with y'all tonight, man.
All right,
Yeah.
man.
Nice.
Man, that's good.
It's mighty fine bourbon.
Man.
With love, whiskey.
They do it. I want that shirt. I want that shirt.
I'll get you one.
It's a good shirt.
It is a good shirt.
That's fantastic.
Since we're doing this,
You got the pork shirt on?
I got the
Oh, yeah.
all the cuts.
Oh.
Various. Yeah.
I like it.
So
That's
big
done.
to me, man.
You've been sitting for a while, so Ted, have a seat.
Producer Ted been behind the scenes working, you know what I mean? Making sure the camera's good.
You know,
This is my guy over here.
it's a good venture, man.
Absolutely.
Excited to be a part of it.
And tune into Stupid Love. Also,
Right.
I will be over very
you
soon
will.
to do
Yes,
another
you will.
podcast with you
Good.
guys.
Think about moving that on the video too.
Are you?
Yeah.
Let's do it, man. I look good, baby. I feel good right now.
I got some good looking ladies on
I'm
the show.
saying,
You know.
yeah,
Oh, there you go, then.
let's do it.
No better reason to do it.
Exactly. I mean, who wants to look at our ugly mugs, right?
Nobody.
Ted speaking for himself.
The band hammer really quick.
You guys are gonna have to crash here.
I'll be fine, thank you very much.
Hey, well, till next time.
Till next time, man. Whiskey and cakes.
Oh,
Real talk about booze and shoes.
good talk.
Believe me.
I'm not